It's my pleasure to present the report of the Senate Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters on the confirmation of the nomination of Honorable Justice M.B. Dongban Mensem, JCA, for the appointment as the Honorable President of the Court of Appeal. The Senate, at its plenary sitting on Wednesday, 10 June 2020, considered the request of His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, for the confirmation of the nomination of Honorable Justice M.B. Dongban Mensem, JCA, for appointment as the Honorable President of the Court of Appeal. This appointment became necessary as a result of the retirement of Honorable Justice Zainab Kachua, CFR, after attaining the mandatory retirement age of 70 years, as provided by Section 291, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. In compliance with this requirement, the erstwhile President of the Court retired on 6 March 2020, thus making the position of President of the Court vacant. Consequently, after consideration of Mr. President's request, the Senate referred it to this committee for further legislative action and to report back with its recommendations. For the avoidance of doubt, Mr. President, the appointment of Honorable Justice M.B. Dongban Mensem, JCA, was made pursuant to Section 238, subsection 1 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, which provides as follows: the appointment of a person to the office of President of Court of Appeal shall be made by the President on the recommendation of the National Judicial Council, subject to confirmation of such appointment by the Senate. It is on this premise that the appointment of the nominee was forwarded to the Senate. It should also be stated that Honorable Justice M.B. Dongban Mensem is the most senior justice on the bench of the Court of Appeal. She was recommended in order of seniority and preference by the Federal Judicial Service Commission to the National Judicial Council for appointment as the Honorable President of the Court of Appeal. In furtherance of the mandate, the committee requested for and received the curriculum vitae and other supporting documents of the nominee and invited her to appear before it for screening exercise. The committee examined her curriculum vitae and other supporting documents and thereafter screened her. The committee interviewed Honorable Justice Dongban Mensem, JCA, and received explanations regarding her life, work experience, suitability, and competence to assume the position of the Honorable President of the Court of Appeal. Honorable Justice Dongban Mensem hails from Plateau State. She was born on the 13th of June, 1957. She holds a Bachelor of Laws degree and Master of Laws degree from Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, in 1979 and 1989, respectively. She was called to the Nigerian bar in 1980. She also holds a certificate in French from the University of London, Russell Square, in 1990. She participated in the compulsory National Youth Service Corps program in Plateau State Ministry of Justice as a pupil state counsel in 1981. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, Honorable Justice Dongban Mensem commenced her career as a magistrate in the Plateau State Judiciary in 1981. She rose through the ranks to become the first indigenous female chief magistrate in Plateau State. In 1990, she was appointed as Deputy Chief Registrar, Superior Court and Protocol Affairs. By dint of hard work, she was appointed as Judge of High Court of Plateau State in 1993. Thereafter, she transferred her service from Plateau State Judiciary to the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, as FCT High Court Judge in 1997. In 2003, Honorable Justice Dongban Mensem was appointed as a Justice of the Court of Appeal. She has served as Presiding Justice of Jos, Yola, Ibadan, and Enugu divisions of the Court of Appeal. She was appointed as the acting president of the Court of Appeal on the 6th of March 2020 when Honorable Justice Zainab Okachua, CFR, retired. Thereafter, she was appointed by Mr. President upon the recommendation of the National Judicial Council to fill up the vacant position of the Honorable President of the Court of Appeal. Apart from her regular duties as a judge, she has served as chairperson and member of various tribunals, ad hoc investigative panels, and committees. She has also served as the pioneer board member, legal advisor of the Plateau State Commission for Women, as well as a part-time lecturer with the University of Jos. She is the founder of William Mensem Education and Scholarship Foundation and founder Quadas Road Safety Demand Trust Fund, an NGO. She is a recipient of Plateau State Miss Heritage Award in recognition of her contribution to education and role model to girl child in 2018. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, Honorable Justice Mensem is the author of the law book, The Defendant. She has presented numerous papers during seminars and workshops, among which are social justice under the Constitution of Nigeria and several other publications, which I will not bore you with. You all have copies of this report. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, Honorable Dongban Mensem is also a member of the International Federation of Women Lawyers Plateau State Branch, where she served as chairperson, public relations officer, and national coordinator, Northern Zone, at different periods. During deliberations, distinguished colleagues, Honorable Justice M.B. Dongban Mensem addressed the committee on a number of issues, such as her vision and aspiration for the judiciary, expeditious determination of cases, automation of the court in order to fast-track the administration of justice, conflicting decisions of the Court of Appeal, and judicial and justice sectors reform. In further interface with the committee, she demonstrated sufficient knowledge of the law and a firm grasp of contemporary legal and jurisprudential issues. She is an eminent jurist with high intellect and has passion for inclusive judicial governance and for upholding the integrity and independence of the judiciary. Our observations and findings. The committee, after the screening exercise, deliberated on the nominee's suitability for the appointment and made the following observations and findings. 1, that the appointment of the nominee satisfied the requirements of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, and the Senate Standing Orders 2015 as amended. 2, that Honorable Justice Dongban Mensem has the experience, comportment, exposure, and possesses the requisite leadership qualities of a judicial officer to effectively run the Court of Appeal. 3, that the nominee has the intellect and capacity to exercise restraint and uphold the dignity of the court and the litigants in the discharge of our official functions. 4, that there is no petition against her nomination for appointment as the Honorable President of the Court of Appeal. 5, that she was appointed as the acting president of the court on the 6th of March 2020, a position she held until her nomination for appointment by Mr. President as the substantive president of the court. And finally, that the nominee is a fit and proper person for appointment as the Honorable President of the Court of Appeal. Our recommendation, Mr. President and distinguished colleagues. The Senate Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights, and Legal Matters, having screened the nominee and being satisfied about her exposure, experience, performance, qualifications, and competence, hereby recommends that the Senate do confirm the nomination of Honorable Justice M.B. Dongban Mensem, JCA, for appointment as the Honorable President of the Court of Appeal. I so move, Mr. President, and I thank the leadership and our colleagues in the Senate for entrusting us with this responsibility. Thank you so much.
Distinguished colleagues will do the approval here. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Honorable Justice M.B. Dongban Mensem for appointment as the Honorable President of the Court of Appeal? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate. The Senate, in the Committee of the Whole, considered the report of the Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters on the screening of Mr. President's nominee for appointment as the Honorable President of the Court of Appeal and approved the nomination of Honorable Justice M.B. Dongban Mensem as the Honorable President of the Court of Appeal. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Thank you. Confirmation. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Honorable Justice M.B. Dongban Mensem for appointment as the Honorable President of the Court of Appeal? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Honorable Justice M.B. Dongban Mensem is hereby confirmed as Honorable President of the Court of Appeal. Well, congratulations to the Honorable Justice. Let me join all our colleagues who contributed or commented on the report of the committee, and of course, the extolling of the virtues of the nominee. The judiciary needs a lot of reforms. The National Assembly, this Senate particularly, is available at all times to provide this kind of legislative support and intervention that will be necessary for the reforms. So we are available, and we wish her a very successful tenure, and the justice system in this country must protect the weakest, particularly amongst us. That's the essence, without prejudice to those who are very powerful. Leader of the Senate.